Hello everyone, this is Glenda Winkleman and welcome back to Creative Grandma. Here is the baby booty pattern that I promised that I finally got all my samples finished. I have 3 samples. As always, I made the cute little blue and white ones. I put a little blue and white plaid bow on these, and I used a solid blue for my little edging. So that's the blue pair. And then I made a green pair, solid colored green. Now these are made out of the Stitch Studio Storybook Lullaby in the solid colors. And I kept the trim work off just to show you that they're also adorable just plain. Just the plain little booty. And the nice thing about these little baby booties is fall is coming here in the United States in a few months. So if you're going someplace and you have these on your baby and like his little pant leg or their little pant leg has just that little bit of space where, you know, their skin's exposed, you can just flip this cuff up and make it longer to help protect their little legs so they don't get cold. So you can use it as a high boot, or you can fold that down so you can see the cuff and just have the little boot. So I think they're adorable. And I also made the little pink pair with the pink and white, and then I have the solid pink for the trim and just added a little pink bow with the white. Now the pattern for this is at the end of the video, but you can also email me. My email is in the video. Just give me a quick email. Get that pattern, have it right beside you when we're going through this video, and that will also help you. I read it, this particular pattern, I'm reading right off my my sheets because there's a lot of different stitches. It's not just, you know, back and forth. It's a little more intermediate level. So look for that pattern at the end of the video. Give me a quick email. I'll email it to you. I'll be right back to start the slippers and tell you what you need to get started. To start our project, you're going to need some number 3 lightweight yarn. Now I'm showing several different colors of the Stitch Studio by Nicole Storybook and Fanfare. The Lullaby yarn are the solid colors and the Fanfare are the multicolored. So I'm choosing the Storybook Lullaby in the color Honeydew for my third pair of booties. I made one using the pink and white, a pair in the blue and white, and now I'm going to make the green ones because that's a neutral color for either a boy or a girl. So go ahead and grab your skein of yarn. You don't need a full skein. Now these little booties you can make with less than 1.5 ounces of yarn. You can either, now I'll show you one of the green booties I already have made. You just need a little bit of trim color. You can either do this in the same color. I like to accent it a little bit. So this is the one I'm going to be making today, the other half of this pair. And probably less than 6 yards of your accent color. You're also going to need a size G6 US hook or a size 4.14 millimeter hook. So choose your yarn, grab your hook, and you're going to chain 10. So get your chain 10 ready, and I'll come back and we'll get this booty started. I have my chain 10 ready. And I do ask all my subscribers to please bear with me with this video because the yarn's smaller, my hook is smaller. I'm wearing my magnifying reading glasses to do these stitches, so I may have to stop once in a while, and I'm also trying to read the pattern as I go. So yeah, just bear with me a little bit with this here pattern. Okay, we have our chain 10 ready, and what we're going to do is we're starting on the bottom of the foot. So this part we're making here will be the sole of the booty. So what we're doing is we're starting here. This is our beginning chain here, and we're going to be working in rounds. So that's where we're starting, at the bottom of the foot. So okay, to begin, we're going to single crochet in the second chain from hook. So you're going to skip this first chain and you're going to single crochet into the second chain. So insert your hook into the chain, yarn over the hook, pull it through that chain, yarn over the hook, and pull it through 2 loops. That's your first single crochet. Now we're going to single crochet in each of the next 7 chain. So insert your hook into the next chain, yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch, yarn over the hook, and pull it through the 2 loops on hook. Now I'm not going to say it detail for detail because I need to concentrate on counting, so I won't be talking you through the stitch, so I'll go slowly enough that you can see what I'm doing. So that's the first of the 7 single crochet we need to make. So that's 1, go into the next chain, work a single crochet, that's 2. You're going to go into the next chain, single crochet, that's 3. It's a little hard to hold on to your work until you get something there to try to, hold on to. Insert your hook into the next chain and single crochet, that's 4. Insert into the next chain, single crochet, that's 5. Insert into the next chain and single crochet, that's 6. Insert your hook into the next chain and single crochet, and that is your 7 single crochet. So you single crocheted into the second chain from hook, and then you work 7 single crochet, so you should have a total of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 single crochet across your chain. You should have 1 chain remaining on the end. So now you're going to work the toe area. So we're going to work 5 single crochet all in this last chain, which will create almost like a half circle, and then we'll start on the bottom of our foundation chain. So insert your hook into that last chain, and we're going to work 5 single crochet all in the same chain. So there's 1 single crochet, insert into the same chain, there's 2 single crochet, insert into that same chain, single crochet, that's 3. And as you're doing this, you'll be turning your work and you'll eventually just be on the opposite end. So insert into that same chain space. I pull my little bit of starting thread behind my work and I work right over that, and it weaves in the ends. Whoops. Okay, so this is 4 single crochet, and then I need 1 more for 5. So let me double check. 1, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 all in this last chain space. So now we're going to be working on the bottom of our foundation chain. So if you're not sure where your stitches are, I don't know how close I can get this. Just follow the 2 loops. You can see the stitch on the top. If you go down, there's your next chain. Or you can kind of try to pull it. It's not showing up very well here. But you can see right between here, if you follow this stitch up here down, that's your next stitch. Go over here, you can see your little double loops, follow it down, there's your next stitch. Okay, so we did our 5 for the corner for the toe area. Now we're going to work a single crochet into the next 7 chain. So insert your hook into that next chain, single crochet. There's 1. insert into the next chain, single crochet. There's 2. Insert into the next chain, single crochet. There's 3. Insert into the next chain or the base of that single crochet from the top of your chain. I just lost my count. Okay, let me count and see how many I did. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to make 3 more. Insert into the next chain. There's 5. Insert into the next chain. There's 6. Insert into this next chain. That's 7. And your last chain is right here, but just let me double check because it's a little harder to do a video than you think because you're trying to look at your work. I'm trying to watch a computer monitor and I'm trying to read the instructions all at the same time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you worked your 5 double crochet around the corner, and then you should work 7 single crochet across, and then you have this one last chain. And when you're new to crocheting, that's really hard to see when you get around and you know it's just all like crammed in there, and it's just a little bit harder to see that last chain. So it is there, and we're going to work 2 single crochet into this last chain. So insert your hook. If you follow these 2, I'm trying to show the best way I can and trying to explain it. If you look for these 2 loops and follow it down, that's your last chain. So you're going to work 2 single crochet into that same space. So there's 1 and there's 2. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come over here into this first single crochet you made. You can see this is your last single crochet you made, and if you look for these 2, like that little loop there, that's your first stitch. So we're going to come over here and insert our hook under those 2 loops, yarn over the hook, and pull it through all loops on the hook. So there you just joined your round. So that is round 1 completed. And then usually what I do is I cut this end off, and I come over here and forgot my scissors, so I'll do that later. Okay, so for round 2, we're going to chain 2, and this counts as your first half double crochet. 1, 2, and then we're going to also work another half double crochet into the same into the same stitch here. So yarn over the hook, bring it right down beside the chain 2 space, insert into that stitch, yarn over the hook, pull it through that stitch, yarn over the hook, and pull it through 3 loops on the hook. So there the chain 2 counts as the first half double crochet, and then you have another half double crochet stitch in that same space. So now we're going to work a half double crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. So we're going to work 7 half double crochet around. So yarn over the hook into the next stitch, yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch, yarn over the hook, and pull it through all the loops on the hook, 3 loops. Okay, so that's our first one. So half double crochet into the next 6. So that was our first. We needed 7, so we need 6 more. That's 2. It's 3. 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we started with the chain 2 for the first half double crochet. We worked another half double crochet into that same stitch, and then we worked 7 half double crochet across our round. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we're going to work 2 half double crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. So what we're doing is we're increasing the toe area here. So we will be working 2 half double crochet in each one of the next 5 stitches. So you'll be working actually 10 half double crochet over the next 5 stitches. So yarn over the hook, insert it into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch, yarn over the hook, and pull it through all 3 loops on the hook. Now we need to make 1 more half double crochet in the same stitch, yarn over the hook, insert it in that stitch, yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch, yarn over the hook, and pull it through all 3 loops on the hook. So there is our first set of 2 half double crochet in our first stitch. So now we have to do that 4 more times. So you need to work 2 double crochet into the next stitch, or I don't know what I just said. You need to work 2 half double crochet into the next stitch. Like I said, please bear with me. It's really hard looking at this with these glasses on and watching the screen. So there's 1 and there's 2 into that second stitch. So we've done 2 so far. You have 2 and then 4, so you need to put 2 half double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So work 2 more half double crochet in that next stitch. You need to work 2 half double crochet into the next stitch. There's 1. There's 2. And we're ready to do our last set of 2 half double crochet in this next stitch. So there's 1. And there's 2. So look at your stitches. You can see you have 2 in this one. You have 2 in that same spot there. You have 2 in this stitch. You have 2 in this one. And you have 2 in this stitch. So you should have a total of 10 half double crochet. I'm just trying to double check my work here. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Okay, so now we're going to work a half double crochet in each of the next 7 stitches. So half double crochet in the next stitch. That's 1. Half double crochet into the next stitch. That's 2. Half double crochet into the next stitch. That's 3. half double crochet into the next stitch. That's 4, half double crochet into the next stitch. That's 5, half double crochet into the next stitch. That's 6, and half double crochet into the next stitch, and that's 7. So when you look over here, you want to look at your stitches. This one goes in that stitch, this one goes in this stitch, and then you'll see where you have the 2 stitches going into the same stitch. So you will want to count from that stitch there over. So, or you can count from this side and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can see that the 2 stitches, this one and this one, are all in this stitch, and that way you know you have your 7 done. You just count from your double over if you're double checking your stitches. But if you get to the end and you see that this is off, then you know that you did something wrong. So just rip it out back to where you know that you made a mistake. So now you should have 2 stitches left. You have this one and this one. And when you're working this pattern, because you're joining each round, you're going to see what looks like a stitch here, but that's not a stitch. That is made when you're pulling that work together. It almost creates like a bar going across. And this is a lot of times where people make a mistake. You don't work in this. And then this stitch here, I'm trying to see. This is your beginning chain 2. This is your beginning chain 2, and this is the bar that when you join it creates. So when you're looking at your work, you'll say, well, I got more than 2 stitches. No, you don't. You have 1, 2, ignore this bar, and I'll show you what I mean every time you join your round. You'll see that. Okay, so 2 half double crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. So work 2 double crochet, my goodness. You're going to work 2 half double crochet into this next stitch. I keep wanting to say double crochet because I don't use the half double crochet a lot. So I apologize for that. We are working with a half double crochet in this pattern. Okay, there's 2 half double crochet in that stitch. And then you're going to work 2 half double crochet into this last stitch. There's 1. And there's 2. And you will see this little bar. That is not a stitch, so please ignore that. We're going to join with a slip stitch in the top of the beginning chain 2. So skip this here little bar. That's not a stitch. You're going to come up 1, 2. You're going to go into the second chain, and you're going to pull your yarn through all the loops on your hook. And there you just completed round 2. And I'm sorry, I was getting tongue-tied and trying to count my stitches and pay attention to what I was doing, so I hope I didn't confuse anybody. I'm going to set this down and pull some more yarn off my ball. Okay, so now we're working on round 3. So we're going to chain 2. The chain 2 counts as our first half double crochet, and we're going to do a half double crochet into that same beginning stitch. Now if you look, there's a stitch right here that's really close. You're going to want to work in this little, let me see if I can really zoom in, right here. So this is your beginning chain 2, and there's just a little spot right there on the side of that chain 2 space. Do not go in this spot. That is your next stitch. You need to go in this space right here. Okay, so I'm going to work another half double crochet in that same beginning space, same beginning stitch. Okay, And then we are going to half double crochet in each of the next 12 stitches. So work a half double crochet in each one of the next 12 stitches. So I'm just going to do the stitches and count as I go. This one, yeah, there we go. There's one. We're going into the next stitch, half double crochet, there's 2, half double crochet into next stitch, that's 3, half double crochet into the next stitch, that's 4, half double crochet into the next is 5, half double crochet into the next is 6, half double crochet into the next is 7, half double crochet into the next is 8, half double crochet into the next is 9, half double crochet into the next is 10, half double crochet into the next is 11, and half double crochet into the next stitch, and that's your 12. We're going to work 2 half double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So work 2 half double crochet into the next stitch, and there's 2. We're going to work 2 half double crochet into the next stitch. There's 1. And there's 2. You're going to work 2 half double crochet into the next stitch, there's 1, and there's 2. So as you can see, the bottom of our little booty foot is coming together nicely. Okay, now we need to half double crochet in each of the next 12 stitches. So I will just count as I go. Half double crochet in the next stitch is 1, half double crochet in the next stitch is 2, half double crochet into the next stitch is 3, half double crochet into the next stitch is 4, half double crochet into the next stitch is 5, half double crochet into the next stitch is 6, half double crochet into the next stitch is 7, half double crochet into the next stitch is 8, half double crochet into the next stitch is 9, half double crochet into the next stitch is 10, half double crochet into the next stitch is 11, and half double crochet into the next stitch is 12. So now we're going to work 2 half double crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. Get my yarn out of here so it doesn't distract you. Okay, now here we go again. It says work 2 half double crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. So when you're looking at your work, it looks like 3 stitches, but it's not. So make sure you always ignore this bar here. This, it looks like a stitch, but it's not. Like I said, you create these when we join our work together. So these are your last 2 stitches. Okay. So we're going to work 2 half double crochet in each one of those last 2 stitches. So there's 1. Work another one in that same stitch for 2. So you just work 2 half double crochet in that same stitch. Now we're going to work 2 half double crochet in your last stitch. So there's 1 and there's 2. You're going to skip this joining bar. You're going to count up 2 stitches. 1, 2, insert your hook into that second chain. You're going to put your yarn over the hook and pull through all loops on your hook. You just slip stitched your round 3 together. So I'm going to go ahead and take a 1-second break, and I'll be right back to start round 4. You just completed round 3 and we're going to start round 4. Now if you want to count your stitches, you look for the little loops. They look like little chain links, and you should have 36 half double crochet around your work when you're at the end of round 3. So round 4 is a pretty simple round. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to single crochet in each stitch around. So when you do that first stitch, again, you're working in the top of that chain 2 space. So it's a little hard to see that stitch. You can see this one very clearly, but you need to work that first stitch over here in the top of that chain 2 where you joined. So that's that little hole right over here. So do not work in this or you won't have the correct number of stitches. You're going to work right here in that hole, and then you work your next stitch in that one. So you chained 1. You're going to insert your hook into the top of that chain 2 where you joined, and you're going to single crochet yarn over your hook and pull it through 2 loops. So this is your next stitch right here. So you're going to insert your hook into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch, yarn over the hook and pull it through 2 loops. That's your single crochet. So insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch, yarn over the hook and pull it through 2 loops on the hook. So go ahead and single crochet in each stitch around, and I will meet you at the end of the round 4 and I will show you how to join your work. And remember, when you're working back around, do not work in that bar that you join with. Your last stitch is over here. So when you come around, your last stitch will be here. Do not work in that, and I will meet you right here. And I'll be right back. I'm at the end of round 4. And we just did 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So you should have a total of 36 single crochet around your work. Remember, when you do your last stitch, it will be here. Do not work in this space here. That is your joining bar is what I call it. So that is not a stitch. So for round 4, you chained 1 to do your first stitch, so you ignore this chain 1 space, and you're going to insert your hook into the top of that beginning single crochet, yarn over your hook and pull it through all loops on your hook. You just joined round 4. Now I did want to kind of show you, I mean, I'm not sure how big this looks on the monitor. It looks pretty big to me. But this is the bottom of the baby booty. You may think to yourself, well, that's pretty big when you're working on it. But what happens is Now we're going to start, and this is going to actually pull itself up, so it will not be so wide. And just kind of let me show you. I'm taking the booty that I made, and if you see, I'm putting it on top, so you can see how it is bigger. This looks bigger than it really is, because when we do round 5, we're going to start working this toe area, and we're going to be bringing we're going to work 2 half double crochets together over 2 stitches. And what that's going to do is it's going to pull that work right up. You're going to actually think, oh my God, this is deformed, but it's really going to pull this up and tighten your little booty up, and it forms the toe area across here. Everything else, if you look at the work, is single crochet. But when you come around to the toe area, in order to form and pull this together to make the toe area in the front of your booty, we're going to have to do those 2 half double crochet together. So just, you know, just a pointer. So if you're working, you're saying, my goodness, that looks a little big. But again, it's going to be pulled up as you work your stitches, and it'll become smaller. Okay, so now round 5, we're just going to take it slow, because this is probably going to be the one row where you might get confused on. So if you're confused, just make sure you have a copy of these instructions when you're following along the video, or if you're a seasoned crocheter, you'll know what to do by just looking at the instructions. But we're going to chain 1, and this round is going to be a mix of half double crochet and single crochet. So chain 1, and you're going to work a single crochet in each of the first 12 stitches. So when you look here at your first stitch, you may be a little confused, because when you join it looks like the stitch is here, but you're actually going to work here. So insert your hook into that stitch, yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch, yarn over the hook, and pull it through 2 loops. That's your first single crochet. And again, this here is like your bar of where you joined, and you can kind of see it here, here, and here. So you never work in those spaces. Okay, so single crochet in the first 12 stitches. We just did 1, single crochet into the next stitch, that's 2, single crochet into the next stitch, that's 3. You're going to hear my chair because I need to move a second. Okay, so that was 3. Insert your hook into the next stitch and single crochet, that's 4. Insert into the next stitch and single crochet, that's 5. Single crochet into the next stitch, that's 6. Single crochet into the next stitch, that's 7. Single crochet into the next stitch, that's 8. Single crochet into the next stitch, that's 9. Single crochet into the next stitch, that's 10. Single crochet into the next stitch, that's 11. And single crochet into the next stitch, and that is 12. Now I'm just going to double check my stitch count, and I suggest that you do as well, because if you get your toe area off center, your booty will be a little deformed. So go back and check your stitches. You should have worked a single crochet in each of the first 12 stitches. So if you look at your first stitch, this is your chain 1, ignore that, and you're going to count where you see these double stitches here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now we're going to start and work a half double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. So to work these half double crochet 2 together, we're going to work the 1 half double crochet in this stitch, and then we're going to work half of the second half double crochet in this stitch, and then we're going to join them together. So that's basically, you're decreasing one stitch over these two stitches, but we're working a half double crochet. And what that's going to do is it's going to pull this really tight, and it's going to start forming that toe area. So now this is probably going to look really funny to you when I crochet this, because I kind of like just squish it together when I crochet so I can get into those stitches. So if it looks like I'm doing it funny, whatever way is more comfortable for you to handle your work, as long as you do the stitches correctly, you can crunch it up, whatever's easier for you to get into those stitches. Okay, so yarn over the hook, you're going to insert it into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, and pull it through the stitch. That is the first half of your first half double crochet. So now we're going to do that again into the next stitch. Yarn over the hook, insert it into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, and pull it through the stitch. So you should have a total of 5 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now what you're going to do is you're going to put the yarn over your hook, and you're going to pull it through all 5 loops on your hook. And I'm trying to watch myself through a monitor, so now I have to look down so I can see my stitches. Okay, so there is your first half double crochet 2 together. That's your first decrease. You just decreased 1 stitch. I just lost my spot. Okay, we needed to do that 6 times, so we just did it once. So now we need to do it 5 more times. So yarn over the hook, and make sure, I try to think of all these things to help you. When you're starting to do your next decrease, make sure you do not go in this stitch, because what's happening is this work's going to start pulling. Now this is pulling in the direction that you just worked your stitches. So it's going to pull it. So this is not where you go in. Always look and see where that stitch is. And you want to go into the next stitch over here. So please double check your work, or your toe area will be wrong and you won't know what you did wrong. And you'll just have to start over or keep ripping out. So okay, we're going to do our second decrease. Yarn over the hook, insert it, skip that part right there where your stitches come down, and insert into that next stitch. Yarn over the hook and pull it through the stitch. You have 3 loops on your hook. That is your first half of your first half double crochet. You're going to put the yarn over your hook. You're going to insert it into that next stitch. Yarn over the hook and pull it through your stitch. Now you have a total of 5 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over the hook, and you're going to pull it through all 5 loops on your hook. So you just made your second decrease. And again, you can see that how much space is here, and that's where I worry that new crocheters, you know, you must really pay attention. And this is kind of lightweight yarn, and the stitches are kind of small. So if you're making a smaller size and you're using even a smaller hook, you may want to do the same thing I'm doing and pick up a pair of reading glasses that are magnified so you can really see your stitches good. It really does help. I got off track there for a minute. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so we did 2 of the 6. So now we're going to do it again. So yarn over the hook, skip the space where your stitches are in, and you're going to go in that next stitch. Yarn over the hook and pull it through the stitch. 3 loops on hook. Yarn over the hook, you're going to go into that next stitch. Yarn over the hook and pull it through the stitch. 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over the hook and pull it through all 5 loops on your hook. So we just done 3 of the 6. We need to do 3 more. And you'll notice it's starting, I don't think it's showing up on the screen yet, but it's starting to, you can see it's starting to try to pull together and form that toe area. So we need to do this 3 more times. So yarn over the hook, skip the stitch where your stitches are going into it, and insert into that next stitch. Yarn over the hook and pull it through the stitch. 3 loops on hook. Yarn over the hook, insert it into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, and pull it through the stitch. 5 loops on hook. I hope you can see them, okay? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yarn over the hook and pull through 5 loops on hook. So we just completed the 4th of the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to do 2 more. You can see it's starting to form that bowl shape, pulling it up, forming the toes. So yarn over the hook, skip the stitch that your stitches have gone into and go into the next stitch. Yarn over the hook and pull through the stitch. 3 loops on hook. Yarn over the hook, insert it into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch, 5 loops on hook. They seem to want to pull together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over the hook and pull it through all 5 loops on your hook. And I have to do that over because my stitch got caught in the yarn. So let me just hurry and do that again real quick. I'm sorry about that. Okay. So if you count, if you count, you can see them very clearly. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, and there's 5. You need 1 more for a total of 6. So yarn over the hook, skip that stitch that your stitches are in, and you're going to go over here to this stitch. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through the stitch. 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over the hook, insert it into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch. You have 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over the hook and pull through all 5 loops on your hook. So always double check your work. It's better to keep double checking than to rip out and redo. There's our 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th half double crochet 2 together, which was 6 decreased stitches. So you're 6 stitches less than you were. Okay, so now we're going to switch back to single crochet, and we're going to single crochet in each of the last 12 stitches. So I'm just going to count my stitches, and please remember, look for where your stitches were worked last. Your stitch was worked in this stitch, so you're going to skip that stitch because it almost, when you look at it, it almost looks like it wasn't worked into, but it has been. It's just pulling in the direction that you were working your stitches. And when I'm doing these videos, I try not to say right or left, because if a left-handed person is doing this, it will be pulling in the opposite direction. Okay, so we made our 6 decreases. So we're going to work a single crochet in each of the last 12. So skip the stitch that your last stitch was worked and insert into the next stitch. Work a single crochet. That's 1. Single crochet into the next. That's 2. Single crochet into the next stitch is 3. Single crochet into the next is 4. Single crochet into the next is 5. Single crochet into the next is 6. Single crochet into the next is 7. Single crochet into the next stitch is 8. Single crochet into the next stitch is 9. Single crochet into the next stitch is 10. Single crochet into the next stitch is 11. And when you get down to the end again, you will look like you have 2 stitches. And please remember, this is not a stitch. This is your joining bar, I call it. So single crochet into that last stitch for 12. Skip your joining bar. You're going to come over here to your beginning single crochet, This is your chain one space here. So you skip the joining bar, you skip that chain one, and you insert your hook into the top of that first beginning single crochet. Yarn over the hook and pull it through all loops on your hook. You just joined round 5. So if you stick your fingers in there, you can see now it looks like a little basket. So this is your toe area up here where you did your decreases, and your heel is in the back. So row 6 is another easy row, or round 6 is another easy round. You're going to chain 1, and you're going to work a single crochet into each stitch around. So you should have 30 stitches, so you will work 30 single crochet around. You will work 1 single crochet into each stitch around. So I'm going to go ahead and single crochet over to where we decreased. So I'm going to work ahead and I'm going to work across here, and I'll come back to show you. These are pretty wide stitches here. Let me see if I can show this better. I don't know if it's showing it. How can I show that? Oh, up here. See how wide these stitches are? That doesn't matter. You're still only going to work that single crochet, and all it's doing is it's just going to pull it even tighter to help make that toe area. So go ahead and work your single crochet across to that point, and I'll meet you there to go around the top of the toe area. I worked across to where we did our decreases, and you can see a big difference of how big these stitches are here. But you're still just going to work, you just stick your hook in there, and it creates like a little hole gap, but that's okay. That's part of the design. You can see it a little bit here. That's the way it's supposed to look. You'll see those little, when you do the decreases, there'll be a little bit more of an opening there, like a lacy look. So we're just going to work our single crochet into those big stitches. Just work your single crochet. And like I said, this is going to tighten it even more. You have to kind of like work with your squish it down or whatever way to get to those stitches. Just make sure you don't work 2 stitches in the same, because they are pretty large stitches. Insert into that next large stitch, work a single crochet. And like I said, this pulls it together even more. Jump over here to the next stitch and work a single crochet. Like I said, you have to play with it when you're going around that corner so you can get in those stitches properly. So just really pay attention when you're coming around, because it is hard to see and maneuver. You'll get the hang of it. Make sure you skip the stitch that your last stitch was made, jump over to that next big stitch and work a single crochet. Jump over to the next big stitch and work a single crochet. Jump over to that next stitch and do a single crochet. So we just went around the toe area, and now you're back to your regular stitches. So you'll just single crochet in each remaining stitch around, and then you can just play with it and pull it out, and you can see, how can I show this the best way? Let me see if I can grab it. You can see how this is the heel, and you can see how your little toe's starting to form, like it's starting to bow out. Now we do have, we're going to do 2 more rounds of decreases, and that's going to pull that all the way back to form that upper toe part. So go ahead and finish doing your single crochet around, and I will meet you here in this stitch here. You will work your last single crochet. Please ignore that joining bar I call, and your chain 1 space. I'll meet you here at this last stitch. I'm over at the end of round 6. I just worked my last single crochet, and you will see this is what I call the joining bar. That is not a stitch, so do not work in that stitch or you will really have your stitch count off. So ignore that. Ignore your chain 1 space here, and you're going to insert your hook into that first single crochet that you made in round 6. yarn over the hook, and pull it through all loops on the hook. You just slip stitched your round 6 together, and that's what makes what I call the joining bar. So now we're going to start round 7. Round 7 is the same as round 5, only we're not going to do as many decreases. So we're going to start, this is going to be worked in single crochet, and then we're going to do our decreases of our half double crochet 2 together over the toe area. Like I said, if you're a beginner, just take it slow, and I hope I'm not going too fast. This is going to be a long video, so I try to make it as short as possible when I think that you could be okay on your own just doing like the single crochet and stuff around. But if you're not sure, just rewind the video and just keep watching it. You will get it. So round 7, we're going to chain 1. You're going to work a single crochet into this first stitch. So work a single crochet, and we're going to work a single crochet in each of the next 10 stitches. So basically you're working a single crochet in each of the first 11 stitches. We did 1, we need to do 10 more. So single crochet into the next stitch is 2, single crochet into the next stitch is 3, single crochet into the next stitch is 4, single crochet into the next stitch is 5, single crochet into the next stitch is 6, single crochet into the next stitch is 7, single crochet into the next stitch is 8, single crochet into the next stitch is 9, single crochet into the next stitch is 10, single crochet into the next stitch is 11. And please, please, whatever you do, go back to that beginning round. When you're working these rounds with these decreases, it's very important. It's only 11 stitches to count. It's not that many, and it will save you so much time and effort so you do not mess up the toe area. We needed to single crochet in each of the first 11 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we made our 11 stitches. Perfect. Now we're going to half double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches 4 times. Now this is the same thing we did in round 5, but I'm going to walk you step by step through these decreases for the toe area. Yarn over the hook, insert it into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, and pull it through the stitch. That is your first half of your first half double crochet. There's 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over the hook, insert it into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, and pull it through the stitch. Now you have a total of 5 loops on the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yarn over the hook and pull it through all 5 loops. That's your first decrease. That is your first half double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. We need to do that 4 times. You did 1. We need to do it 3 more times. And like I said, you're going to be squishing this and pushing it, or whatever works for you to get around this toe area. Yarn over the hook, skip this stitch that your stitches are in. Make sure you do not go into that stitch. Insert your hook into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch. 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over the hook, insert it into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch. 5 loops on hook. Yarn over the hook and pull it through 5 loops. You made your second of the 4, so we need to do it 2 more times. So just get your work and push it in or pull it out or squish it together, whatever you need to do. Yarn over the hook, skip the stitch that you have your stitches in. Make sure you skip that one, go into the next. Yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch. 3 loops on hook. Yarn over the hook, insert it into that next stitch. Yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch. 5 loops on your hook, yarn over the hook, and pull it through all 5 loops on your hook. So now if you count, you can see this is a regular single crochet, and we have 1, 2, 3 decreases of the 4, so we need to do 1 more. I'm just going to push that inward, I think is the easiest way. Yarn over the hook, skip the stitch that your last stitch was worked, insert into the next stitch. Yarn over the hook, pull it through that stitch. Yarn over the, whoops, nope, you don't want to do that. You have 3 loops on the hook. Getting ahead of myself. Yarn over the hook, insert it into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, and pull it through the stitch. You have 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over the hook and pull it through all 5 loops. Oh, there we go. Double check your work. Look for the last single crochet worked, and then make sure you have 5 decreases of half double crochet 2 together. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. So you just decreased 4 stitches around. So now we're going to jump over here and we're going to change back to single crochet. So skip the stitch that your last stitch was worked. You can see your stitches in this stitch, so you want to go in this stitch. So insert your hook into that next stitch, and you're going to work a single crochet in each of the last 11 stitches. So there's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. You have your joining bar, you have your chain 1 that you started your round with, and you're going to insert your hook into that beginning single crochet. Yarn over the hook and pull it through all loops on your hook. You just joined round 7. So if you turn your little booty, you can see it's almost starting to look like a little ballerina slipper. You can see it's starting to form its shape. Oops. Okay, so for round 8, this is our simple round. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to work a single crochet in each stitch around. So go ahead and work a single crochet in each stitch around. I will meet you at the end of round 8. I'm just going to pull my hook out of here for a minute. Now remember, when you're working around this toe area, these stitches are a lot larger, so make sure you do not work 2 stitches in those stitches. Make sure you only work 1 stitch in each one of those big loops coming across here. So go ahead and single crochet in each stitch around, and I will meet you at the last stitch right here to finish round 8. I'm at the end of round 8. Whoops, I forgot to do the last stitch. Okay, this is my last stitch here. So I just worked my last single crochet. You will see your joining bar here from when you joined the previous round. You see your chain one space here where you started this round, and you're going to insert your hook into the top of that beginning single crochet that you made for round 8. Yarn over the hook, pull it through all loops on your hook. You just slip stitched round 8 together. This is the heel of the foot. When you join, you're at the back of your little booty. And as you can see now, it's really starting to take its form. So now round 9 is your last round of decreases. And then everything else is pretty simple from this point forward. So let's begin round 9 and do our last round of decreases. So for round 9, we're going to chain 1. You're going to single crochet in each of the first 8 stitches. So there's 1 single crochet into the next stitch, that's 2, single crochet in the next stitch, that's 3, single crochet into the next stitch is 4, single crochet into the next stitch is 5, single crochet into the next stitch is 6, single crochet into the next stitch is 7, and single crochet into the next stitch for 8. Again, I cannot tell you how important it is to go back, and when you're working these decreased rows where you're decreasing stitches, please go back to the beginning. Double check your stitch count. This is your chain 1, that does not count. You should have a total of 8 single crochet made. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're ready to start our decreases. We're going to decrease 5 more stitches. So we're going to do a half double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. So I'm going to walk you step by step through your decreases again. So here we go. Yarn over the hook. You skip the stitch that your last stitch was made in and you go into the next stitch. Yarn over the hook and pull it through the stitch. 3 loops on hook. Yarn over the hook, insert it into that next stitch. Yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch. You should have 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over the hook and pull it through all 5 loops. Your first decrease made. We need to do it 4 more times. Yarn over the hook, skip the stitch that your last stitch was made in, go into the next stitch. Yarn over the hook and pull it through the stitch. 3 loops on hook. Yarn over the hook, insert it into the next stitch. Yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch. You have 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over the hook and pull it through all 5 loops. We made 2 of the 5 decreases. We need to do 3 more. Now when you're working around this toe area, like I said, you got to squish or push or whatever makes you comfortable in getting to your stitches. I just kind of like push it in and move it around. So yarn over the hook, skip the stitch that your last stitch was made, go into the next stitch. Yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch. 3 loops on hook. Yarn over the hook, insert it into the next stitch. Yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch. You should have 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over the hook and pull it through all 5 loops on your hook. If you count, you can see your last single crochet made. Then you can see your bigger stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3. We need a total of 5 decreases, so we need to do it 2 more times. Like I said, you need to kind of like just maneuver it, get this out of your way, push it inside itself, whatever you have to do. Yarn over the hook, skip the stitch that your last stitch was made, go into the next stitch. Yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch. 3 loops on hook. Yarn over the hook, insert it into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, and you should have 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over the hook and pull through all 5 loops. So you go back, you look for your last single crochet made, there it is, and then you count 1, 2, 3, 4. We need one more decrease. Yarn over the hook, skip the stitch that your last stitch was made in, and you go into the next. Insert your hook, yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch, 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over the hook, insert it into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, and pull it through the stitch. You should have 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over the hook and pull it through all 5 loops. You go back, double check your work, double check your work, double check your work. I can't say it enough in order for this toe area to come out right. So there's your last single crochet made. You can tell the decreases because they're a bigger stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you just did your 5 decreases. And now you're going to single crochet in each of the last 8 stitches around. So you skip this stitch where you see your last stitch was made, you go into the next stitch. You work a single crochet. There's 1, single crochet in the next stitch is 2, single crochet in the next stitch is 3, single crochet into the next stitch is 4, single crochet into the next stitch is 5, single crochet in the next stitch is 6, single crochet in the next stitch is 7, single crochet into the next stitch is 8. You will see your joining bar. That is not a stitch. You skip that. You skip your beginning chain 1 that you started your round with, and you insert your hook in the top of that starting single crochet. Yarn over the hook and pull it through all loops on your hook. You just joined round 9, and if you, I'm going to take my hook out, whoops. If you look at your work, you can see how your little slipper has just been formed. Now it's up to you if you want to put your cuff on. Now some people might like it this way and just want to put the little edging around here and keep it like that. I'm going to show you. We have 14 rounds total, so we have 5 more rounds of half double crochet. Very simple. So let me show you. So this is what it actually looks like. You're going to work 5 more rounds of half double crochet. These are all half double crochet, just 1 half double crochet in each stitch around for 5 rows, and then we put our edging. And then what happens is we just fold this down, and it makes just an adorable, cute little cuff on your bootie. So we joined our round 9. So I'm going to be right back, and we're going to work rounds 10 through 14, which are really simple, basic rows. And I'll meet you right back here in just a minute. We just finished round 9, and now we're going to start round 10. So round 10 is also an easy round. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and you're going to work a half double crochet in each stitch around. So your chain 2 is right here, and this is a stitch that the chain 2, that's your first stitch. So this chain 2 goes with this stitch here. So you're going to skip this stitch and yarn over the hook, insert it into that next single crochet, yarn over the hook, pull it through your stitch, yarn over the hook, and pull it through 3 loops on your hook. So that was a half double crochet. I'll show you one more time. You should know how to make it at this point. So yarn over the hook, insert it into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over the hook, and pull it through all 3 loops. One more time, I'll show you. Yarn over the hook, insert it into that next stitch, yarn over the hook, pull it through the stitch, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over the hook, and pull it through all 3 loops on your hook. So go ahead and work a half double crochet in each stitch around. And remember, only one stitch in each one of these big stitches as well, where you did your decrease. And I will meet you at the end of round 10. And this is the last stitch you work right here. And then you skip your joining bar and you skip that chain and you join in the second chain. But I'll meet you here at the last stitch and show you how to join your round. I'm over at the end of round 10. I just worked my last half double crochet in my last stitch around. You will see your joining bar thread is what I call it, and then you will see your beginning chain 2, which was your first half double crochet. So you skip this joining bar, you skip this first chain, and you insert your hook into the top of that chain 2 that you started your round with. Yarn over the hook and pull it through all loops on your hook. You just joined round 10. And now you can really see how your booty looks. You're starting to work your cuff up now, so all the remaining rows will be the same, all the remaining rounds will be the same except your last edging round. So what I need you to do is you're going to chain 2. That is your first half double crochet. You're going to skip this space here and you're going to work your stitch into the next stitch, and you're going to work 4 more rounds of half double crochet exactly like you did the last round you just made. So you chain 2 and you will work a half double crochet in each stitch around. You will join in the top of your chain 2 exactly as you did in round 10, and you'll do that 4 more times and you will be at the end of round 14. And then when you get that done, work 4 more rounds of half double crochet and I'll be back and we will do your edging for your cuff. And then your booty will be finished except for your weaving in ends and if you want to add a little bow or a decorative item. So I'll meet you back here at the end of round 14. I'm at the end of round 10. And you can see that I worked 5 rounds of the half double crochet. So here is my single crochet round, and then I worked 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 rounds of 1 half double crochet in each stitch around for 5 rounds. So now we're going to do something a little bit different for the edging. So this is what we're going to do now. We're going to do this little chain 1 slip stitch edging. So basically we have been working from the right side. So for the edging, we're going to be working from the wrong side and we're going to be working from the inside this way. And what happens, the reason we do that is because when you turn this cuff down, then your work will actually be on the right side. So take your little booty, fasten off your work. Now I leave my end hang because I'm going to work right over this thread and then I'm just going to trim it off. But you can weave it in if it bothers you. You can go ahead and weave that in if you want to before you start. So the toe of the booty's here. We're going to go in through the back. We want to start in this back heel side. So fold the top in half, go to the back of the booty and look for that center stitch. It doesn't really matter if you're 1 or 2 stitches off with this. It just kind of gives you an idea of where to start. So you're going to go right down through the center of your booty and out from the inside to the outside. So insert your hook into that stitch. And I'm trying to find the end of my yarn. Okay, my screen got blurry. What is happening? Okay, for some reason my screen decided to do some type of weird blurry stuff. Okay, so I already told you to insert your hook from the inside to the outside. I grab my yarn. I leave a small end. My goodness, I can't hold my yarn. I leave a small end about that long. I just hold my yarn up against the top of that booty, and you're going to pull that new color through. I need to put my glasses on. I forgot to put them on. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a chain one, and then we're going to slip stitch in the next stitch, a chain one, and slip stitch in the next stitch, and we're going to repeat that around for our little edging border. So I just hold these threads here, I work right over them. So we're going to chain one, we're going to skip this stitch that we chained one in, and we're going to go over here, and you're not going to work in this loop here. You're going to go ahead and work in these two loops over here. So yarn over the hook and pull it through that stitch and pull it through the loop on your hook. You're going to chain one, and you're going to slip stitch in this next stitch, yarn over the hook and pull it through all loops on hook. You're going to chain one, you're going to slip stitch into that next stitch, and again I'm working my thread right over top of these, and then I'll just trim that and it's already woven in for me. Yarn over the hook, pull it through all loops on the hook. Chain one, insert into that next stitch, yarn over the hook and pull it through all loops on hook. So you're slip stitching, but you can see how it makes just a nice little edging. Chain one, slip stitch into the next stitch, insert into the next stitch, yarn over the hook and pull it through all loops on hook. Chain one, slip stitch into that next stitch, and then what I do is I just come in here with my scissors and I just nip that really close, but make sure you don't cut it into your thread. And then you can see how your ends are already weaved in, so when you flip it over you don't even see them. So I'll show you a couple more times. Chain one, slip stitch into the next stitch, so you insert your hook in that next stitch, yarn over the hook and pull it through all loops on hook. Chain one, insert your hook into that next stitch, yarn over the hook and pull it through all loops on hook. And you just continue that around. So go ahead and work all the way around to the last stitch, and I will show you how to join your last round, and your booty will be done except for weaving in your ends and adding your little bow or button or whatever you want to put on it. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm over to the end of my round 15. I just worked my slip stitch in the last stitch around. So how we're going to join this is we're just going to chain one, and we're going to come over here and we're going to go in that same beginning stitch that you started with. We are going to insert our hook into that beginning stitch, yarn over the hook, pull it through all loops on the hook. You just slip stitched your round 15 together. You're going to fasten off your yarn. I just pull that. Just be careful you don't pull it too tight so you don't break your thread. I'm going to weave in my end. So this is what your booty should look like at this point. It's your toe area, the little heel. So we're going to fold this down. So just fold those 5 rounds right in half, and it creates the cuff. And like I said, I'll weave this in later. So here, let me see if I can get... So here's our little pair of booties. This is the one I made earlier. Kind of was smashing that while I was working on it. So here's our booty. So you can either leave this plain, or that looks a little thinner, but it's really not. It's just because I was crunching it down. And so here's our booties. Now you can leave them plain, or I picked up this package of little bows. You got 5 different colors, so you got 10 bows, which is perfect because you get 2 of each of these colors. So that's enough for 5 pairs of booties. I think this was $1.99 if I'm not mistaken. So because there's no green, I did have my trim in white. So like I said, you can either leave them plain or you can add a little bow. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the So Cute Baby Booties. It is a little bit harder pattern. It's an intermediate pattern, but if you're a beginner, just take it one stitch at a time and just take your time, and you will be able to make this cute little pattern. And again, I want to thank everyone for bearing with me. I did have a little bit of trouble doing this video because I happen to wear my magnifying reading glasses in order to see the stitches, and staring at the monitor, it was just a little hard for me in this video. So thank you for bearing with me with that. Please enjoy the video. I hope you have fun making these little booties. They are so adorable for the little ones, and there is some other sizes that you can make, and I tell you that in the instructions. So thanks again, and please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.